After divorcing Damian Sterling, the possessive husband and billionaire CEO who ruled the corporate world with an iron fist, Anastasia Steele suddenly found herself back in her parents' eyes as nothing more than a financial burden. She endured 3 days of idleness at home before her sister-in-law started slamming doors and cursing under her breath. On the second night after moving into a dingy low-rent apartment, she spotted a familiar sleek Maybach parked downstairs. Damien, the obsessive alpha male in his signature black coat, leaned against the car, smoking a cigarette. She pretended not to notice and kept walking, but he extinguished the smoke and called her name in that deep, commanding voice. He had just returned from a month-long business trip, only to find her filing for divorce, demanding an explanation for turning their marriage into a second-hand affair. 3 weeks into his trip, she had drafted the divorce papers. With his parents present at their luxurious New York penthouse, overlooking the glittering skyline, she placed the agreement before them. Their marriage had lasted only 3 months, with no shared assets, so she claimed nothing from the Sterling empire. Her luggage was packed, ready for inspection. The lavish dowry and gifts from the Sterlings, including Cartier jewelry and Van Cleef necklaces, were neatly returned upstairs. She signed the papers, thanking them for their care during her brief time as Damien's little wife. Bowing slightly, she prepared to leave if there were no further arrangements. His father inquired if Damien, the mafia boss-like figure in the business underworld, had wronged her. His mother tugged at his sleeve, but she denied it, insisting Damien and the family were perfect. It was her own reasons. Accepting her decision, his mother offered a card with $2 million for a new home. Declining politely, she gathered her things. His mother insisted the staff pack properly and arranged a chauffeured ride in a private limo back to her family's modest alley home. Upon arrival, her mother and sister-in-law chatted with neighbors, their faces lighting up at the fancy car. Inside, her brother offered tea, but learning of the divorce and her return empty-handed, their expressions soured. They ranted about the Sterlings bullying her, demanding the dowry back. She admitted leaving it all behind. Her sister-in-law dumped the tea in the trash. Her mother slammed into the bedroom. Planning to rest and job hunt, she faced escalating tension. By the second day, her sister-in-law banged pots, cursing the useless eater who brought nothing back after years of support, calling her a money loser who'd been used for months without gain. Her young niece innocently asked what a money loser was, and her brother sneered that she was one too. Lying on the narrow single bed, tears soaked her pillow as she stared at the ceiling. On the third day, she moved to the cheap rental. No one clung to her goodbye. She slipped her niece a red envelope, touching her hair without promising a return. Settling in, she began job hunting. Fresh graduate with no experience and average credentials, interviews were scarce. Exhausted from the bus ride, she bought a sandwich at a convenience store. Back at the building, the familiar Maybach waited again. Damien, the dominant billionaire CEO, leaned smoking in the cold winter wind, his secretary in a Burberry trench and RV heels nearby, always shadowing him like a possessive extension. Suppressing jealousy, she averted her eyes and walked on. He called her name, extinguishing the cigarette, his gaze dark. Just a month away, and now she was seeking a second marriage, demanding her explanation. She stared at her shoes, saying nothing needed explaining. His grandmother had passed a month ago, the one who arranged their forced marriage, a relic of old traditions in this modern age. He frowned, asking if she had been unwilling. She countered if he had been, knowing he married for filial duty. Silence confirmed it. Both knew it was a marriage of convenience, enemies to lovers twisted by family ties. It was cold. She wanted to go up. He noted the unsafe area, recalling the $8 million dowry that bought her family 2 city center homes. One for her brother and sister-in-law, one for her parents. She had returned every cent, now penniless. Saving money, she replied. His temple vein twitched. He urged her to move out for safety. She refused, suggesting he sign the papers tomorrow at the Civil Bureau. His grandmother fresh in the grave. Better he remarry someone suitable, produce an heir, and let her rest in peace. He asked if his business absences, leaving her alone, prompted this. She stomped her foot against the chill, denying it. He gripped her arm, insisting if he neglected her needs, she should say so directly. Honestly, the bedroom experiences were average. His face darkened, gripping tighter, recalling her cries and struggles that cut things short. Blushing at the chaotic wedding night memory, she bit back words about his hardness, saying divorce made it pointless. He refused to agree, unwilling to defy his grandmother's wish. She countered that a second marriage rumor might tarnish his reputation, but as a young woman, she didn't care. Men like him, with his wealth and power, could have women lining up from New York to Paris, age gap or not. He insisted no divorce, tucking her wind-blown hair behind her ear, apologizing for any disappointments as a husband. Marriage wasn't a game to him. He hoped she'd think calmly. The rental was unsafe. He offered an idle small apartment. Declining, she stepped back, wrapping her coat against the bitterness. From the start, she warned herself not to fall for him, even as his wife. Accepting his place post-divorce felt wrong. Not like being his kept woman in the Continental Hotel's presidential suite for 3 years. She wasn't his caged bird. Impatient, he frowned. Marrying from a humble background meant tolerating his scandals, swallowing grievances unlike his pampered mistress. In return, as Mrs. Sterling, she gained luxury, private jets, Italian villas, yachts, but she couldn't convince herself. Time to go, she said. His secretary approached with his phone. Anger flashed in his eyes, voice low and impatient. Glancing at her, conflicted. It was from the Continental Hotel. Her lips tightened, his expression softened, rage melting. Smiling faintly, she turned away. He grabbed her wrist, pulling her to the car. Unsafe here, tonight with him. His strength overwhelmed. Exhausted from job hunting, no dinner, she couldn't fight. At the opulent Continental Hotel, he had his secretary show her to the suite before rushing off. Sitting in the vast room with marble floors and crystal chandeliers, she ate her cold sandwich with tap water. Deep into night, he didn't return. Dozing on the sofa, she later felt lifted into a cool, post-shower embrace, sinking into the cloud-like bed. He nuzzled her forehead. She pushed away, but he pinned her wrists beside her face, leaning in. She turned her head, dodging. Annoyed at his energy after hours away, she reminded him the papers weren't signed. Forced intimacy during marriage was illegal. Deciding on divorce meant no more physical ties. He tightened his grip, saying if he insisted, she couldn't refuse. She feigned calm, noting a man like him didn't need force for needs, preserving his status. He countered he was just an ordinary husband. Sinking down, knee parting her legs, bodies close, she smelled his fresh post-shower scent. Recalling how he always showered first upon returning late, even early in marriage when they found rhythm, yet he'd pull away mid-passion for the hotel woman, leaving their joy-filled bed cold. Eyes closing in defeat, she shoved him with all strength as his kiss neared. Gather and part amicably, they weren't compatible. He demanded where, background, looks, abilities, even in bed, nothing matched. Did she have another man? Shaking her head no. Incompatible? Grind it out. He recalled her enjoyment before his trip. Fate, she said. Amused anger lit his eyes. He slowly removed his robe, flipping her, gripping wrists. Show him the act again tonight. Unaware of his tricks, especially since their wedding night hurt her. He seemed inexperienced then. As a healthy woman, she eventually surrendered to her body's reactions. Seeing her submissive, his mood brightened, cooing dominant praises like good girl between them. She fell asleep in his arms, waking to dawn. His sleep light, she heard his low phone voice. Hearing her brother's name, tension gripped her. No money, send him away. Eyes closed, humiliation swelled. Her family, leeching off his grandmother's favoritism, reaping benefits hundredfold. Pre-marriage, 2 houses in her name to subsidize them. Greedy bottomless pit. Post-grandmother's death, divorce loomed to avoid family disgust. He hung up, returned to bedside. Feigning sleep, she felt his gaze, then a gentle cheek kiss before leaving. She called a realtor to sell 1 house. Her brother and sister-in-law had occupied it begrudgingly. Now leverage. Phoning her brother, last warning no more begging sterlings, or sell the second. He cursed her as ungrateful. She hung up, blocked all. Priced below market in a prime area, it sold fast. Buyers viewed amid her family's disruptions. She called police. Dropping price 100K sealed it. Funds transferred to Damien immediately. Her family, bullies to the weak, feared now, silent lest she sell the other. Money hit his account in minutes, he called. Where was she? Leaving the bank under a billboard, opposite mall screen flashed news, including his scandal with a mystery woman. Sighing, she chuckled bitterly. His grandmother had tricked her with words. Damien, focused on business, no romance, but a good husband. Older, no frills, but different with her. Rejected other girls, but silent on her. Always appeared when she visited, sending her home. He was taciturn, rarely speaking en route, but insisted she call upon arrival. Once forgotten, he called worried. Those gestures swayed her to marry, stirring feelings. Now clear he never liked her. Such an obsessive alpha male needed minimal effort to ensnare. Find a cafe, he'd pick her. Sign the papers. If dragged, she'd sue. Silence, then agreement. Afternoon, secretary delivered signed copy. Peaceful end, no entanglements. Her family couldn't beg. One house sufficed if wise. She cut ties. From university acceptance, she planned a broad escape from toxic family, vampiric selfishness. Better wander destitute than endure their stabs. Now wish granted. 2 months later, all settled, procedures done. Night before flight, he learned. His parents informed 10 p.m. flight. She apologized for family hassles. He paused at work, pen halting. Understood. Secretary returned a ring box. He stared half a minute, directing placement. Work abandoned, he smoked by window. 9:30 p.m., time enough. At airport lounge, her senior Xavier Knight arrived at 10. Visa via marriage to him, green card holder, lover unaccepted by family. Moderate depression plagued his partner. Marrying her, adopting a child, secured heirs, allowing discreet life. She didn't love him, nor he her, mutual secrets, partnership. Overseas escape for her, open love for him. Fair trade. To security, he ruffled her hair like school days, joking about her becoming his wife. She laughed, noting quick remarriage post-divorce. His gaze pitying why divorce? He unwilling. Lowering eyes, ignorance let her swallow grievances, but knowing his beloved woman, insurmountable. Insomnia plagued her, wondering on outings if he met her. Madness loomed. Better end short marriage before deeper pain, despite secret long affection. He shook head, calling her fool, pressing her shoulder as tears fell. Like his struggles touched. He'd support, find her a blue-eyed hunk, mixed-race baby despite Damien. Amid sorrow, she laughed, punching playfully, like girlfriends, blurring his orientation. To outsiders, flirtatious couple. Damien clutched keys, frozen, seeing his recent wife playful with a tall, handsome man. Xavier tugged her sleeve. She saw Damien's departing back, striking, eye-catching. As ex-spouses, she read his anger. Unexpected he'd come, 2 months silent. Fantasies of calls, appearances coaxing her back, half-realized wrong timing. No need explain, he never did about hotel woman. Post-divorce, no duty. Anger from pride, ditched by wife, quick new man. Any man would fume. Xavier mused. Damien felt something. Don't mention, if feelings he'd rob wedding? Make third wheel? Joking, but heart ached dully. Grandmother said so, Xavier too, but she couldn't believe Damien liked her. Plane ascended smoothly. Xavier slept. Locked album screenshot of message to her. Believe it or not, even if Damien's with you now, if I call, he'll come first. She believed. His actions sowed divorce seeds. No hesitation, leaving mid-intimacy. Perhaps she'd self-deceive forever otherwise. Ceremony day, she zoned out. Xavier whispered if waiting for Damien. Denied verbally, but new fantasies: helicopter descent, luxury convoy snatching bride. Classic dark romance trope. Mouthing off showed nerves. He teased she'd cry at rings. Eyes sad. They sat in bridal attire like mismatched pair. What thought he? If Damien robbed, he'd not renege, stay put. He laughed as if real. Then bolted up, shocked joy. Bouquet dropped, she stood tripping on gown. Damien arrived not flashy. No jet, no fleet. Business suit, gray shirt, crisp pants. No pricey watch. Instead, 20K one she gifted pre-marriage. Her 4-year savings, extravagant for her, cheap for him. Never worn beneath him. Understood but hurt. His presence surprised Xavier's intimate crowd. Some recognized billionaire CEO. Whispers to parents. He apologized, interrupting, requesting private words with her. They deferred to her. Wanting refusal, but eyes met, hers teared. He had words, she questions. Odd as wife, silent. Now free, words poured. Xavier pushed gently. She walked ahead to fountain, low-headed. What for? Marriage no joke. Considered deeply. She fit no family baggage but greedy kin, easy control. He frowned. No other factors, only her. Listen. He watched news. Yes. Gossip. No interest. So ignorant? What say? Explosive Sterling VP Damien hides lover at Continental during marriage. Honeymoon wife alone while he meets old flame. He caught Gold House hijaw, admitting rumors? Denied hearing. Legal/PR handled. As heir, privacy guarded. Last month, lawsuits against rumor mills. So anger from these? Shouldn't she? Saw articles. No secretary likes women? Trusted her thus. Stunned, such whitewash? Think her fool? He dialed secretary men hard, stinky. Loved pretty girls, scented, cute. Never liked him, more credible liking her. Phone dropped, hung up. Why not ask post-wedding? Why not confess? Thought legal cleanup clarified. Why not see cover-up? No waves without wind. Hotel had close woman. Expression grave family privacy scandal. Concealed. Had half-brother, sickly, abroad raised, unknown publicly. 3 years ago, suicided in Swiss villa, wedding month away. Voice broke. Eyes reddened, lips trembled. Unaware, she gripped his hand, sorry. Strike too heavy, family silent. Normal ignorance. Patted her hand, composing. Left fiancé orphan. Planned half inheritance, remarry, but she refused, returning with ashes. Met at Continental as waitress, love at first sight. Respected, long leased top suite. 3 years there, reclusive, not wanting disturbance. Family treated as daughter, he is sister-in-law. Depression led self-harm, midnight rushes for that. Brother gone, grandmother ill, recent death. Parents elderly, lost heart sore, hid to spare grief. Story seamless, touching, but recalled message, doubt stirred. Family pitied her, odd message, perhaps provocation. Today, open showed screenshot, from marriage month plus, midnight call, he left. He stared half-minute. Remembered she wrist slit, tub bloody. Message not proof, maybe stir. Words unlike her deep love for brother. He shook head, pocketing phone. Hugged tightly. Don't marry senior. Wait days. He'd handle home, return. Gripping shoulders, pleading gaze, couldn't refuse. Closed, saw red eyes, fatigue. Touched face, he cupped hers, kissed fiercely. Wait. Watched him stride, pause far, almost turned, didn't. Tears fell. Xavier found her, canceled wedding. Meaningful only with love. Agreed. He hoped her happiness, his with beloved. Nodded fiercely. Best senior deserved joy. New path hard. Tradition demanded heirs, family pressure immense. Damien gone a week, no word. Secretary called twice, unsettling. Learned she had girlfriend, relieved. Reported school routinely. Couldn't marry Xavier, but studies persisted. High school underperformed due family. Now cherished full English courses, challenging despite decent English. Busy less Damien thought. Leaving library noon, shocked seeing him. Not empty-handed newspaper, major circulation. Half-page headline reveals Sterling elder son Damien's late brother's fiancée leaves capital forever. Sub 3 years in Continental presidential suite. Sterling's cared lavishly. Photo side profile beautiful. Before his fault. Pulled into embrace. Her fault too, not asking. Wrong assuming no standing query feelings. You, from day one, questioned if she liked him. Wouldn't Mary disliked? Wouldn't if not liked her? Mutual guessing led mutual dislike conclusion. Thought him emotionless, rigid. Thought her meek, manipulable. Both laughed. Why send her abroad suddenly? Silent, then met brother at hotel. Insight love at first for him, not brother? No denial. Brother loved deeply, suicide upon truth. Regardless, sorry, wronged her. Shook head. If truly loved brother, no death, no detour for them. Benefit forced rigid him confess like sooner. Hair white otherwise. Sorry insufficient. Tiptoed, arm's neck apologized with I love you. Blushed rare, new discovery. Not here, home. No say, no love. Pouted fake anger. Helpless seemed tricked. Obedient before grandmother. Regret. Yes, not better, more sooner happy. Kissed suddenly. Airport seeing her playful with senior jealous. Really? Yes, sleepless, drank like lovesick boy. Unimaginable, thrilled secretly. Want see jealous again? Face darkened, don't think. But long after, jealous often, of Xavier, secretary, even son later.